Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundless success to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The U.S. and Ukraine sign a deal for rare earth minerals. Tensions rise between Pakistan and India. The DNC faces discrimination charges, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Ukraine has signed a deal with the United States, giving the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals as it continues to work with the Trump administration in an effort to end its 3-year war with Russia. Ukrainian Economy Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Syrydenko flew to Washington, D.C. Wednesday to help finalize the deal. The agreement will establish the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund to help accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery, according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. This agreement signals clearly to Russia that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term, Bessent said in a statement. President Trump envisioned this partnership between the American people and the Ukrainian people to show both sides' commitment to lasting peace and prosperity in Ukraine. And to be clear, no state or person who financed or supplied the Russian war machine will be allowed to benefit from the reconstruction of Ukraine. On behalf of the government of Ukraine, I signed the agreement on the establishment of a United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. Together with the United States, we are creating the fund that will attract global investment into our country, the economy minister wrote on X. Upon taking office, President Trump said he wanted Ukraine's rare earth materials as a condition for continued U.S. support in the war. He described it as reimbursement for the billions of dollars of U.S. military assistance given to Ukraine. Pakistan says it has credible intelligence that India will launch a military action against it in the next 24 to 36 hours. The announcement came after days of tension between the two nuclear-armed rivals following an attack by Islamist militants in the disputed territory of Kashmir. Pakistan denies any involvement in the attack, while India says it has identified at least 2 of the assailants as Pakistani nationals. Cracks are starting to show in the Chinese economy, suggesting how deeply the pain is already settling in from the trade war. Plunging trade across the Pacific is leading to production halts and threatening to undermine job stability for millions of Chinese. On Wednesday, China's economy showed its first big signs of damage from the trade war, with a drop in export orders in April and the weakest production at the country's factories in more than a year. Companies reliant on sales to the U.S. market, ranging from makers of toys, furniture, and T-shirts, to metal producers and manufacturers of electrical appliances and construction equipment, have suspended production and put employees on leave. Those that need to source U.S. components for production, such as semiconductor plants and car makers, have been scrambling to keep operations running. A Native American attorney is challenging David Hogg's vice chair position at the Democratic National Committee amid intra-party tensions ignited by the 25-year-old activist's $20 million investment through his political action group to primary older incumbent Democrats. While we are confident that the DNC officer election was conducted fairly, transparently, and in alignment with the rules that were approved by the DNC membership in advance of the election, the party provides an opportunity for any candidate or member to raise concerns for further discussion, a DNC spokesperson said in a media statement. The DNC Credentials Committee will meet virtually on May 12th to consider longtime Democratic Party activist Karen Free's challenge, a decision made before the fallout of Hogg's plan to primary incumbents, according to a source familiar with the situation. Free submitted a complaint following the DNC's February 1st officer elections, in which Hogg, Malcolm Kenyatta, and Artie Blanco secured the vice chair positions. Free alleged in the complaint that the DNC discriminated against 3 women of color candidates during officer elections earlier this year. The U.S. economy contracted in the first 3 months of 2025 on an import surge at the start of President Donald Trump's second term in office as he wages a potentially costly trade war. Gross domestic product, a sum of all the goods and services produced from January through March, fell at a 0.3% annualized pace, according to a Commerce Department report on Wednesday, adjusted for seasonal factors and inflation. Meanwhile, for March, inflation fell to 2.3% compared to the same month last year, down from a 2.5% year-over-year rise in February, and personal income increased $116.8 billion, a 0.5% increase at a monthly rate in March, according to estimates released by the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. President Trump stated that his promised boom will take a while. J.D. Vance said that Trump has plans to juice the economy with the big, beautiful reconciliation bill on Capitol Hill. He said the next 100 days will require Congress to step up to the plate. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.